Okay, y'all, I think this is week 3 of these acne videos that I started doing, these acne update videos. I'm on my second green tea of the day. I'm fired up, ready to go. Okay. Now week 1, actually, let me start with a little bit of background for you. So I stopped tretinoin. Been on tretinoin for most of the year. I decided to stop because it just doesn't really work for my skin. Yeah, and that's really it. It just didn't work for me. Works for a lot of people. It's a very backed and scientifically proven acne medication, but it just didn't work for me. Most of my acne is hormonal. My dermatologist wants to put me on spironolactone or some form of birth control. I don't want to do that because there are a lot of scary side effects and just overall internal organ damage that those things can cause. Now, am I saying that I'll never ever try Spiro? No. um what was that? Yeah, there could come a time where I've just literally exhausted everything that I possibly can, and I'm just at my wit's end and tired of fighting this awful disease, and I decide that I just need some relief, short term, long term, whatever. Because to be honest, I've always put my mental health first. That's why I've been on Accutane twice. I've been on Accutane 2 times. Clearly did not work. um, but I decided to go on it a second time because my mental health was in the gutter, basically. It was rapidly declining, and I needed to make a decision that was in the best interest of my mental health. So that's how I've always kind of done things. But some time has passed now where, I'm 22, I'm really just okay with who I am, and I'm okay with myself. So it's easier to deal with hormonal acne that's always popping up on my face. Recently started wearing makeup again, just kind of occasionally, not everyday thing. And I've also been incorporating some new things. So my first video I did was changing up my skincare routine. I stopped using my Vanny Cream cleanser, and if you haven't seen that video, I went through my whole skincare routine and what I am currently doing and what I was previously doing that wasn't working for me. So I decided to swap out my Vanny Cream cleanser that I've been using for the last 2 years for a panoxyl benzoyl peroxide wash. Now, I love me some panoxyl, but it didn't really make much of a difference. And it was a little too harsh to be using every day, especially since I'm just coming off of tretinoin, which is very drying, very irritating, can be very irritating. It was just more drying, like my face wasn't stinging or red or anything like that. Which, by the way, let me just show you guys what I'm working with. Disclaimer before I show you the sides of my face. I have been picking very excessively for the last, I would say, week. It's been a problem. And I didn't make a video yesterday. I usually make my videos on Sunday. I didn't make a video yesterday because I picked so bad, and I was just in a place, okay? And but I'm making this video today because this is real. It's what happens. It's somewhat normal. I know a lot of people struggle with this too, so I'm just gonna take this as an opportunity to talk about it. Because I know that these are acne update videos, but it's also just what I'm going through. Could be mentally, could be physically, whatever. And this week it just happens to be I can't stop picking at my face. I cannot keep my hands off my face. I have mechanisms that I've put in place that have worked in the past. It's just not working. The only thing that I have found over the years that truly works for stopping picking is just a decrease in acne. If there's no acne to pick, I'm not gonna pick. You know what I mean? So it's like I just have to find something that works for my skin, like a skincare routine or whatever. Right now I'm doing probiotics. So if this works, then I'll have less acne. It's just all about having less acne available to pick. That's what I found works the best. But I don't know. Some people have more willpower than others. But okay, so here's this side. It's looking a little dry in this area. My forehead stays pretty clear. Like, I have a little tiny bit of something right here, but like you wouldn't even be able to see it if I didn't point it out. So, yep, it's all hormonal. This side's a lot worse. Turn over. My chin is oddly pretty clear right now. Usually I'll have some deeper painful ones on the sides. That's where most of my scarring is, as you can tell. But I don't really have any right now on my chin. It's mostly just on my cheeks. And I do honestly think that my skin would look so much better right now if I haven't been picking. So it's hard to tell. And that's the annoying part too, is like when you have a picking problem, it's really hard to tell if you're doing something new, if that's truly working. Because when you pick your skin, it just, I don't know. It's a very psychological thing. Like, realistically, I know that if I want to have better skin, I need to keep my hands off of my face. And like, I'm always thinking about how my acne looks and what it looks like to other people, whether or not I want to admit it. Like, yeah, I'm confident in myself, and some days I really just don't care because I'm so exhausted by caring so much about what my skin looks like that I just don't care. I'm just so exhausted. But most of the time, it is on the forefront of my mind. And you would think that if I was so desperate to get rid of it, that I would just stop picking, because we all know that it just makes matters worse. I just can't for some reason. And like, I could go into it in more detail and why I think it's such a problem, but for me, but I can, that's a whole separate video. But all in all, picking is very bad to do because it leads to more damage. But at last, here we are. I forgot what I was talking about completely. But like, okay, so overall, I think my skin is less inflamed. I'm having less of those inflamed, cystic ones that are deep rooted, and sometimes they don't come to a head. But like, it's just such a catch-22 because my face would look so much better if I just didn't pick, because this is like all dried blood pretty much from old pimples that I picked. But honestly, I need to stop. I need to just do myself a solid, do a little experiment this week. Because realistically, okay, I'm pretty sure it's been 2 full weeks since I started drinking spearmint tea every day. If you watched my last video, you would know that I've been drinking a lot of spearmint tea, 2 cups a day, because it's allegedly an androgen blocker. I read a lot of things online that has worked for a lot of women, and so of course I hopped on and ordered some spearmint tea off of Amazon. I've also been drinking hibiscus tea. I kind of like mix the two because it gives it more of a flavor. See, like I'm picking it right now. I'm gonna just keep my hands off. But hibiscus tea is very high in vitamin C as well, which aids in collagen production. I'm not a scientist. I don't know if that's actually true, but like the flavor is really good. So, yeah. Just ordered more spearmint tea today actually on Amazon because I just made my last I used up the rest of my package, the first package that I bought today when I made my batch. So I put it in like a pitcher. I make a lot of it at once. It's like, I think 8.5 cups that fits in a pitcher, and I make it really strong. So then I'll dilute it when I pour it into my cup. But yeah, it just makes it easier rather than brewing 2 cups a day. So I just drink it cold. Yeah. So I've been drinking that every day. I think I missed one day so far, which like isn't a big deal, but every day for it's been 2 weeks. So if I can stop picking this week and just kind of see what my skin is actually doing on its own, I feel like there's a possibility I could see some results from this third week of drinking spearmint tea every day, if it's actually going to work. Because I think I mentioned this in another video, but whenever I find something that truly works long term, I see results in the first 2 weeks. It's always happened that way. My skin just, when something's working, it works fast, and most of the time it stops working. That's why my skin looks like this, because every time I find something that works, it stops working for me. Literally happens every time. That's why Accutane didn't work. That's why, well, okay, Accutane did work I was clear for like 2 years, I would say, each time. And then it like slowly trickles back. But by the way, this like thing on my lip, that's a scab. That's a scab. That's not hair. This thing on my lip is not that nasty white stuff that people have when they talk too much. It's actually just my lip. Like, it's my lip. Roommates are gone. I can talk as loud as I want. I can talk without having fear of them hearing me. Not that I care if they would hear me. It's just kind of, I don't know. You're just always thinking about it when you're talking and you know that they could hear ya. The walls in this house are very thin, let me tell you. Anyways, so I stopped drinking, or no, I stopped tretinoin. I started the spearmint tea. I don't really have any new things to report this week. It's more of just supposed to be this week as a skin update, since I have already announced the things that I've been doing to try to fix this issue. But also, I did mention this a little bit briefly in the beginning, but I have been wearing makeup like once a week. Not a whole lot. And it's mineral makeup, so it's a lot less likely to clog pores. Like on the side it says non-comedogenic. It's oil-free. It even says acne-genic on the side, which makes me feel a little bit better. I mean, that means the same thing as non-comedogenic, but it's just nice to see, you know. Also, I drank like 3 cups of coffee, not in one day, in 2 different days, this past weekend. Now, I don't think I'm gonna have any crazy breakouts from it, because, as you know, in my first video, I announced that I was also quitting coffee. And I do love drinking a green tea every day. I do love just tea in general. I'm a big tea drinker. I drink all types of tea. But when I made the first video, I was having coffee every day because I truly do love coffee, but it doesn't love me. I wasn't sure if it was really contributing to the breakouts or not, but it just kind of, I had a little bit of a inkling that it might have been, because my face was just so inflamed, and like I was waking up every day with like 3 new pimples. So I was like, okay, I'm breaking out, but this is a lot for what I'm used to. So I cut out the coffee, and yeah, my skin just looks bad right now because I've been picking for like literally 3 days straight. But oh my god, this thing on my lip is just, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't look at it. Uh but yeah, I don't think that drinking coffee once a week or once in a while or whatever is gonna cause any like major flare-ups for me. It's just when I get into the mode of having it every day or multiple times a week that it really starts to make me flare up. But like, also I could just be tripping, and it could be my cycle, just the way my cycle is, because it is all hormonal. So it's just like you have to get to the root of it basically, but it's also like what could make it flare up, what could add to the flare ups, because yeah, it's like, I don't want to say I don't believe in doing strict diets in order to clear acne, because I know that some people have definitely had success in doing that, but I don't know, like, just for me and myself, I know that I've done many different diets over the years. I was vegan for 6 years. I have done like weird experiments to myself that were definitely unhealthy, but like I just wanted to try it out to see if maybe it did something for my skin. Throughout all of the years I've had acne, which is literally since my skin started producing oil, it has not been greatly affected by anything that I eat. Now, that's not to say that I have less flare-ups when I eat better, but it's always been pretty consistently there, no matter what diet I'm on. So, and I do eat pretty good. Like, my diet isn't completely awful. I do enjoy having treats every once in a while, like sweet things. But it's not an everyday thing. I do really enjoy vegetables and fruits sometimes, but I really just try to get my food from like whole plant sources. I'm not gluten free or anything like that. I am dairy free. No dairy for me. It grosses me out, number one, above everything. It's freaking gross. And number two, it just, with so much of the population being lactose intolerant, that has to like tell you something, that dairy is probably not meant to be consumed by humans, you know what I mean? Like, let's get with it. Plus, with all of the freaking alternatives that there are to cheese and milk and stuff, it's like, what's your excuse? You know what I mean? Just get on an alternative, find something better. Yeah, so I'm doing these probiotics once a day. I'm drinking this tea. I'm off the coffee. I'm off the sugar. Not completely, not 100%, but I've greatly decreased my sugar intake. Fried foods I do enjoy every now and again. I had falafel this past weekend, which was falafel is pretty deep fried, I would say. But it was also, I had it with a ton of vegetables, ton of probiotics. They have like the fermented. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot to mention that I had a dermatologist. How did I forget this? It's sitting right here. Okay. You guys, I have a new star ingredient that I've been incorporating. You guys know that I'm trying to wean off of, or not even wean off of, like, I'm not putting tretinoin on my face anymore. I'm just not. I mean, it straight up does not work for me. I'm done trying to make it work. I'm done trying to wean off of it or whatever. Like, my skin just doesn't like it. So, I'm not going to use it. If I have a withdrawal from it, which I don't think I'm going to, but if I do, then whatever. I'll deal with it then. But so far, I really haven't like experienced any crazy flare up from stopping tretinoin. Now, I did have a dermatologist appointment last week, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed by it. I know that this particular dermatologist is a very smart lady. She's very good at what she does, which is why I picked her as my dermatologist. And it was a virtual appointment because it's an office that's not in my area at all. So she does really want to put me on spironolactone. She's really pushing for that, which I don't blame her. It's a very well tolerated medication. It's very proven to help the sort of problem that I have. I mean, it's clearly all hormonal. It's all in the same area that adult acne likes to be. So I did tell her that I'm really trying to just exhaust all of my options before I decide to take the plunge and get a prescription for that, because it is a big decision for me. It might not be for a lot of people. It might be a no-brainer for most people, but for me, I really need to think about this because based on the research that I've done, like, it can go really good and it can go really bad on this medication. And like, I just don't like taking medications, period, but that's a whole other thing. So she did prescribe me a submental additional, I don't know, this other topical. Okay, and this was very cheap, very, very, very cheap. Azelaic acid, 15% gel. Okay. If any of you know the brand name Phenacia, it's a foam. Yeah, so it's just very anti-inflammatory. I'm not gonna pretend like I know everything about azelaic acid. Excuse me. But I do know that it is not a chemical exfoliant. It is used for rosacea patients, acne patients. It's used for perioral dermatitis, which I've also had. So it just really is an anti-inflammatory. I'm patch testing it right now. I've been patch testing it for the last like 3 or 4 days. So just to kind of make sure, I haven't had any crazy reactions to it so far, but I just want to make sure that it's not going to clog my pores or anything, which it's very unlikely that this is going to cause my pores because it's in a gel vehicle. But it's still smart to just patch test everything. I'm still using my Axone. I'm still using my Vanny Cream. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I did switch back to my Vanny Cream tried and true cleanser. I'm also using the Vanny Cream moisturizer. Now that moisturizer is very bare bones. It's not the most cosmetically pleasing, cosmetically elegant product there is. It takes a minute to dry on your face when you first put it on. It's like super white, and it takes like a good 10 minutes for it to fully absorb, which is kind of annoying, but I know for a fact that it's not causing any breakouts, so I'm just gonna continue to use it up. I bought a big tub of it. It's a tub with a pump on it, so I'm gonna use it up and then decide if I want to switch moisturizers or keep using it based on what my skin looks like when I run out. That's what I kind of do with every product. But I know that the reason I stopped the Vanity Cream is because someone on Reddit told me to just try it because their skin was having the same reaction, I guess, as mine was. But now it's like my skin has completely changed from where it was like 3 weeks ago, but whatever, I guess. So yeah, I'm back using the Vanity Cream. It does not affect my skin in a negative way. It's a very effective, cheap, gentle cleanser, does its job, all that good stuff. So yeah, I guess this is the update. Just kind of rambling now, but you guys, it's been almost 30 minutes. If you're still here, God bless. If you have acne, you're fucking beautiful, strong ass biatch. Okay? There's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of stuff to try, to experiment with. A basic skincare routine is the best defense there is, pretty much. But in my case, it's more of an internal thing. So, it definitely could be worse if I didn't have a solid skincare that I knew worked for my skin, which is, I guess, a nice thing. But it also could be a lot better, which is why I'm drinking this nasty tea 2 times a day and considering taking a medication that could possibly make me overdose, make me lightheaded, make me pass out, destroy my kidneys,